Hello everyone, this is Stefan for the third time with the Witcher 3 Mod Manager series. This time I am presenting to you Witcher 3 Mod Manager 0.4 beta version, and also this is the version that includes some of the new features. It has many other things changed, so I want to go through all of them and I will show you how to actually use it and what's everything that you need to adjust and need to know how to use. So I'm gonna ignore this file for timing, well, for some time, and we're gonna focus on the Witcher 3 Mod Manager, this zip file. Now when you open it, this is what you get actually when you download the Mod Manager, and inside is the installation. Now that's different from the previous version because previous versions didn't come with the installer. They were actually portable, and this version actually comes with the installer. And when you run the installer, you simply select the folder where you wanna. And I'm gonna go to games and select the, let's say, W3MM, enter, and next, and it's gonna install it. We wait until it's finished. Now the biggest change that you might not know and you might not even notice when you run this version, and it probably doesn't even matter much to you as a user, is that the whole mod manager is now written in Python. It's no longer being written in AutoHotkey as it was in the previous versions. It's now completely and fully written in Python, which allowed me to make much more stable version, and it allowed me to do many more things much easily. Alright, so when you first run the mod manager, you see that you got the shortcut on your desktop. So when you first run it, you want to actually find your widget3.exe file. Just as before, just as in previous versions, you go to, well, wherever your game is installed, you can use the shortcut or this shortcut from the desktop and go to the bin, x64 and the widget3. Now also keep in mind that this mod manager is only for the Windows x64 bit. It's not for the 32-bit, and if someone needs it, I can make it, but most of the people nowadays go with 64-bit, so I think it should do just fine. So select Witcher 3 exit, press open, and this is the new interface. This is how the Witcher 3 mod manager now looks like. So what's changed? Right off the bat, you can see two big differences. The first one is that there is no one big panel, there are actually two panels now. One on the left, which is the bigger one, and the one on the right. One on the left actually shows all the mods you have installed, regardless of their priority or regardless of anything else. It's gonna display all of their data. And the right panel is going to show our load order. It's going to show exactly in which order the game is going to load the mods. And that is important for multiple of reasons. The first one is if the two mods are overriding, you might want to know which one loads first. So which one is going to be loaded and which one is not. And for maybe like texture mods, you actually want to know which one loads first, because some of the other mod might lose its textures and so on and so on. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about, well, that's the first big thing. The second big thing is this toolbar. This toolbar now has a lot of icons, and you probably notice that all of these icons are directly from the Witcher 3 game. They're the assets from the game, and they're being used here to give some kind of Witcher-esque feeling, something like a better experience, more immersive probably. Alright, so You remember from the previous version we had three buttons, which are install mods, uninstall mods, enable and disable. Now those three are these three icons. This is the install mods, this is the uninstall mods, and this is the enable or disable selected mods. These four books actually are the four important folders when you're modding Witcher 3. Those four mods, those four folders are, first is the mods folder. Here you see we have no mods installed. It is the DLC folder. It is the menus folder and the document settings folder. And these four lists, like not lists, they're papers, scrolls, whatever. There are four important documents we're modding Witcher 3. The first one is input XML file. Here it is. Then is the input.settings. Then is the user.settings. And finally, it is the mods.settings. I don't currently have any mods.settings because I still haven't installed any mod and haven't given it priority. So if I run it, it's gonna say that it cannot find the mod settings, but that doesn't matter. Yes, the new thing about the output is not gonna give you any kind of important information. It's gonna give you only the information where errors occur. That is its purpose for now. And if you want to clear the output, simply go and right click and clear output. Now these are all good things to have for quick access, but what about some other things you might want to have for quick access? Well, now you can actually add them. So how do you add them? You simply go right click and say add new. And here you get this custom dialog, custom explorer that it allows you to choose anything you want. Really, you want a script studio, you get it, right? So, okay, you can run Script Studio right from here. You want a notepad, you can do it. You wanna select. Maybe the most common reason for this is using the mod merger. Here it is. We can run the mod merge. Or let's say you want some kind of folder. Let's say W3 edit folders is open, and here you can actually use your folders as well. And the way to remove them, simply select right click and remove and select which one you want to remove. I'm going to remove all of them. And you can also use files, whatever file you want. I don't know. Let's select this file because I know it's a file. Here it is. Click on it and you can get a file. So basically anything you can put in this toolbar and you can run it as soon as possible for very quick access. Anything in here. You can even increase it and you have even more space. All right. Oh yes, and this toolbar is actually movable. You don't like it? Let me just increase the size. You don't like it up here? Put it on here. You don't like it here? You can set it on the right, on the bottom, wherever you want. But basic one is on top. All right. So that's about it about this toolbar. Now we have the menu. The menu is the same. There are the same functionalities as we saw before. There is one difference. There is no install merge script because I got complaints that you should not change the scripts on the run. Well, it's true. And also there's a problem when making profiles. Having those change scripts actually changes a lot of things. Since I plan to do profiles in the next version, I simply removed that feature. Then we have the edit. We will see those in a second. Now we have the settings. If you remember from the previous version, we actually got the settings window where you can change anything you want. Here you only have the alert to run script merger, which is basically this dialog that pops up every time you install or enable or disable mod. That is the only setting. You can also change the paths, but where are the all other settings, like what do you do when you overwrite or when you install the same mod, well, those options are gonna appear when you install, when there is a need for them. And it's handled like you can also select yes to all, for example, so we'll see those in a second, but I just felt there is no need for them to be here anymore. And now you can actually select language. The whole mod manager is now localizable and translatable, and I'm gonna do a separate video. I'm gonna explain how do you actually translate the mod manager into your language. I'm gonna show you every step. I also already wrote the README file where you can actually read, download, and actually translate. But I'm gonna show you how to use it, and maybe it's easier for you to see someone doing it instead of reading how to do it. And I have here English and, excuse me, I have English and Srpski, which is basically Serbian language. Serbian language is my native language, and I have translated it into Serbian just for to actually have something to go on and display this. So if you go to Srpski, it's gonna say that you can translate it, but you have to restart the game in order to accept, in order to apply the changes. So say yes, it's gonna restart, and here we go. We now have the language is in Serbian. You might not understand what it's written out here, but you can see it's a different language. So we go to the English again, and it's back to English. All right. And about help, we have just some information about the mod manager. All right. So when you close it and run it again, it's going to remember all your settings. That goes without saying, and so on. I'm going to disable this just for this because I don't like using it. It's basically for the new users. Alright, now let's install some mods. We're gonna click on this green button. It's gonna display this explorer, and now we can actually select any kind of folder or zip RAR 7Z files. So I'm gonna go to my desktop and multiple mods. I still have all these mods here. I'm gonna install Primal Needs. And here you can see Primal Needs has been installed, and the Primal Needs here is also displayed. Now this is the load order, and since there are no other mods, this is the only mod that is being loaded after the compilation trigger. And we now have the Primal Needs, which is here is displayed its actual name, not the mod folder. So it says it has one data file, it has DLC, one menu, 4 bars, no hidden, and 5 XMLs, no settings. But if in case you want to see actually what this mod has, everything that it has installed, you go to the right click and press details. And now, as you can see, all the information about the mod has been displayed. Now we see that we have 4 variables, here they are. We have 5 keys, here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4 in this section, and 1 in this section, it's 5. 1 mod menu, 1 DLC, 1 data, and it doesn't have priority set. In order to show you the priority, I'm gonna install one more mod, let's say whatever, immersive camera. Here it is. Now it's loaded, immersive camera loaded before Primal Needs. Now if we want to load Primal Needs before immersive cam, you can go right click on the Primal Needs and say set priority. And now keep in mind when setting priorities is that the lower the number is, the bigger priority the mod's gonna get. So for example, if we say 5, we see that it has 5 priority, but it's loaded before the compilation trigger. Now that's bad, because compilation trigger should be loaded first. So the way to fix this, since there is no compilation trigger, it's not a regular mod, you simply double click on this compilation trigger and you don't set it to 0. 0 is kind of reserved for the merges. the merges are something that should be loaded first, right? Well, you can actually set a completion trigger even to the before merges. Well, but just bear in mind that whenever you install a mod, and then you merge it with some other mod through script merger, it's gonna automatically set its priority to 0. If you didn't know, that's what actually happens. So I'm gonna set this to 1. You can also set it to 0. It shouldn't actually mess things up. Alright. Now we have the compilation trigger, then primal needs, then the immersive cam, and you can see this is the actual load order that the game is going to load them up. Again, if you want to see, we now have the priority, we go into details, the priority is now set to 5. And this checkbox on the left, the checkbox is now being used for enabling or disabling mod. If you click on it, you can see that it's disabled, it's no longer is disabled, and all of its data is disabled, and we can actually check that. If we open input XML, there are no PN vars. If we go to the DLCs, we have there is mods for dinner, but it's disabled. So open mods, you can see here, but here it is as well. And the menus, the PN is disabled. And all of those data back for using. It basically functions the same way as before. The basic idea is just to make the files while also not deleting them, because there is no need to delete them. You want to have them here, but just disable it, just make the game completely ignore them. Alright, so that's about it when it comes to installing. Yes, you can select multiple mods, and I'm gonna select all these mods, but regardless if they are zip, rar, or anything, I can still install them just pressing. Now you can see that there are two ghost modes. There is a folder ghost mode and there is an earlier version. So when we start, this is another thing I want to talk about. The mod manager now actually has much better and sophisticated way of searching for keys and actually. So in this concrete situation, it found that some key has been rebinded within the game. So it's the same key, absolutely the same key, but it has a different hotkey. So it's just asking you whether you want to keep your hotkey or you want to reset it to the one that the mod originally installs. And I say I want to keep them all, so just pressing yes to all. Saying yes will only select one, and saying yes to all will select all keys from that mod. It will not that option does not set for the other mods that also have their key conflicts. It's also for the it's only for the one mod. So just as like here, saying yes to all will apply to only one mod, but if the next mod also have the conflicts, you will be asked again. Now what this happens is, since I have chosen to install Capehood toggle twice, it's gonna ask me whether I want to override it or remove the all first, and I say I want to remove all first. And all these things that happen, those are the mod manager calling the programs for extraction like 7zip and rar, because this mod manager no longer has the 7z included in it, included with itself. It now actually searches for your default program and uses it for the extraction. So that way, if you want to be able to extract 7z files, you have to have 7zip. And same for the rars, because the Python or the program, the library that is behind all this code that actually extracts the data can only extract zip files, and all the others you need external programs that do those things for you. And as I told you, we had the ghost mode 2 versions, so it's gonna ask you whether you want to remove the old one or to keep it, or to just overwrite. I'm gonna say no this time. And there we go, it's installed. Now, there are a lot of things now here installed. And you see all the different data about different mods we have, all the different, what is it? The load orders. We, for example, disable extra animations. It happens in the real time. It always gonna show you in real time what actually was changed. Alright, for example, you want to have a ghost mode, the highest priority. You're gonna find the ghost mode, set priority, and set it to 2. It's gonna be right above primal needs, so it's gonna be the first thing that's going to be loaded. For example, if you don't like this name, there's like tons of letters and numbers, you can simply go right click and rename, and you can give it any kind of name you want. This doesn't affect the load order, it doesn't affect anything else, it's just for the aesthetic purposes. And there you go. Alright, so we see that AMM, it has 709 hidden XMLs. Now what are hidden XMLs? The hidden XMLs are basically the variables that go into, that go into hidden XML. If you have ever installed the AMM, you should know what I'm talking about. They're basically the same variables as the input XML, except they're not visible to the user. And since the AMM has tons of it, as you can see, they're all being put right in the place where they should be. And if we go to the right click and details, they're all there. It has only, was like 10? It's 9 XML variables. We have those 2 mod menus, DLCs, and all the other data, all of these hidden XMLs. Then it has tons of keys. It has like 360 keys. You can even check what those are. And that's about it. You cannot alter this, you cannot change it, but you can copy it if you want to copy, or select all, copy, and move it somewhere, or remember it, or whatever you want to do with it. None of these mods actually have settings, but if I install, let's say, friendly meditation has settings, yes. We go to details, here they are. These are the settings, user settings. All right. So that's about it. That's about all I wanted to talk about. There's still more changes here and there. I just don't have time to go through all of them. Simply use it, see how you like it. Also bear in mind that only the mods installed by this mod manager and this version of the mod manager will have these actual names and all of this data shown to you. If not, if they were installed manually or with some previous version, they're going to be displayed here, but not here. So in order to display them here as well, you need to reinstall them with this mod manager. And don't worry, it's not gonna remove anything, it's just gonna see all the data that it has to have. Alright, so that's about it. I hope you enjoy the newest version. There are still a lot of things to go for. I still want to do profiles, I still want to do install from URLs. It's gonna happen, only not in this version. I just want to make sure that this Python code actually works as it should. And when it's done, I'll add those as well. If you find any kind of bug, anything that is not installed correctly, or you get some weird error here in output, just copy it and send it to me, or describe it to me and tell me, and I'll try to fix it as soon as I can. Alright, so that's about it. Thank you for watching, thank you for using Witcher Mod Manager. New versions are coming soon as well. Also check out the video how to translate the mod manager if you want to. And that's about it. Thank you and goodbye.